Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Cynthia Mayo coming to you again from Third John Living Well, where we have been enjoying, I personally have really been enjoying talking about Third John 2, which says, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in every way. Always remember that, in every way, that your body may keep well, even as I know your soul keeps well and prospers. And that is the amplified version. And as always, I have to do this disclaimer or make this statement. I am not teaching against financial prosperity. As my daughter always says, we got bills, okay? We have, utilities, mortgage, car, tuition, groceries. And that's a whole nother horse of another color just trying to buy groceries now. But the Lord provides every time. And so the last couple of times we met last year, I talked to you a little bit about making sure you know where your children are mentally and emotionally. And so I really want to kind of continue with that, but I want to encourage you to don't be afraid to talk to your kids. I'm gonna tell you something. I have learned more sitting down and having discussions with my grown daughter. She schools me on a lot of stuff that I really just kind of like didn't pay a lot of attention to. But, in the past, I guess the 20 years or so, I've been forced to pay more attention. As I get older, y'all know Social Security coming. And I ain't mad at it. But, we need to be more aware of how our government works. Believe it or not, our children are seeing things on television. They're getting information on social media. They're getting information from their peers. They're talking amongst themselves. And we need to know how much they understand and how much they know. So, the one way to do that is to ask that easy question. How much do you know about our government and how it works, our federal government? Anybody want to talk about how about our local government? How does it work? Because our federal government affects our local government, it's really important to know from that level and kind of work your way down, or you could do it from the lower level on the state and local and work your way up. But because our government right now is like a tossed salad, everything's just in the air. It's like we're juggling, you know, issues. And because our kids are so easily affected by these things, I want to make sure that we um, interact with them about this, talk about it. Ask them, how much do you know about our government? And what do you think about and how do you feel about the things that are happening now within our government? Because there's so many, I'm telling you, every time I hear about another incident, I pray for the children and I pray for the parents because things are literally, it's like back to back things are happening. And then we got this thing of building right now. There's a wave that's building. So we want to stay on top of things. We do not want to overindulge. We do not want to talk our kids into the ground, but we do want to just kind of know because emotionally they can be they can look okay on the outside, but emotionally there's a turmoil. Mentally, trying to process all of this stuff. My sister and I were talking the other day, and I'm like, I never thought I would live to see the day where history is literally repeating itself when it comes to people of color. I never thought, I mean, I'm not that old. By the time I was born, the civil rights movement it was changing. It was in full swing. And I was alive when our precious Dr. King was assassinated, when he was murdered. So I'm that old, and I'm proud of it and thankful for it. I was a part of when desegregation stopped, and they were starting to bus kids in and out, and that was a challenge. And that I was a part of that first year of that. But I never thought I would live to see the day when our government was so corrupt. Our school systems are suffering. Our social systems are suffering. People are suffering. because things are not in order. And our founding fathers set up the government a certain way to protect us and our allies and people around us. But talking to your kids about the government, first thing I would suggest you do, if you're like me, I know the branches, but to talk about how they operate. And I'm going to leave a website when I post this that will give you instruction on how our everything works. And then there's subsets of things that you can click on. Well, we have three branches of government. And I'm reading from this article, y'all. And the Constitution of the United States divides the government into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. And our legislative branch is made up of the Congress, the House, and the Senate of Representatives. I'm sorry, our Senate. I'm sorry. The Senate and the House of Representatives. I'm reading without my glasses. That's what I get. And these special agencies provide support services to the Congress. The legislative branch's key roles include drafting proposed laws, confirming or rejecting presidential nominations for heads of federal agencies, federal judges, and the Supreme Court. They survey the budget and have the authority to declare war. Now, what we're seeing right now, it doesn't seem like it's quite working that way. So that's why I say talk to your kids. I like to get their feedback on stuff because you know what? I mean, they know a lot more than we think they know. My daughter schooled me all the time. Mom, so and so and so and so. And I'm cool. I listen. I don't know everything. Like I said, I didn't really get into talking about and learning about the government until just before Obama. And so that's when I started to sit up and really pay attention. And I learned a lot. I learned quite a bit. Okay, our executive branch. This is the president, the vice president, and the president's cabinet members. This is what the executive branch is comprised of. It says the president is the head of state, leader of the executive branch, and commander in chief of the United States Armed Forces. The vice president supports the president, and if the president is unable to serve, the vice president becomes president. And we've had that happen a few times that I can recall. When President Kennedy was assassinated, President Johnson stepped up. When President Nixon was impeached, President Ford stepped up. When President Reagan was shot, his VP stepped up. Okay. So we're never uncovered as a nation. There's a method. It may seem like it's madness, but there's a method and a reason for it to be set up that way. Excuse me. The cabinet members serve as advisors to the president. They include the vice president, heads of executive departments, and other high-ranking government officials. Cabinet members are nominated by the president and approved by the Senate. Remember that Senate? Okay. And the judicial branch. This branch includes the Supreme Court and other federal courts. It evaluates laws by interpreting the meaning of laws, applying the laws to individual cases, deciding if laws violate the Constitution. And when you get this kind of information, it makes you stop, look, and pause and think. Are these things being carried out as it was designed by the founding fathers? Okay. So talk to your kids about this. See what's going on in their head. You know what I call it? The headspace. That headspace. Talk to them about current events. Don't be afraid. Because as you talk with them, you'll begin to feel out how they feel about this. What's going on in Michigan, Greenland, and other areas around the country where our military forces are being sent in places they don't need to be. And war is something that we don't need. And as believers, we're encouraged to pray for our government officials, pray for those in positions of power, because we want, as the Lord's Prayer says, uh, His kingdom to come and His will to be done in this earth and through us. So we need to be praying for our government. Get with your kids and pray. And like I said, if you've got younger kids, don't be afraid to talk to them. See what they know. Like I said, they know more than you think they know, and they understand more than you think they understand. But you want to hear it from them. Don't just assume that your third or fourth grader doesn't get it or doesn't know what's going on. They know. If they have a phone, they know what's going on. And we want to know how the situations and the events that are going on, how that is affecting them, and how we can help them understand, how we can help them get through and not fall into depression and feeling sad and melancholy all the time. I told you, my daughter's like, Mom, my generation. And when she talks about it, I really understand more why there are more suicidal thoughts and even homicidal thoughts in the generations after the baby boomers, which I'm one. So take that time. I'm gonna leave the link, and I'll find some other links too. I want to give you to talk about your state and your local and your federal government and how it works. Bible tells us as believers to be wise as serpents and gentle as a dove. It didn't tell us just to be laid down and be a dove and get trampled. We have to learn. Also talks about in all of your getting, get understanding. And the more we understand, the more effective we can be as voters. Amen. And don't be afraid to talk about some of these things in your congregation, pastors. Y'all know I got to go there. There are scriptures that you can find that will balance out so that we will understand that God does not want us to be in chaos. He sent His Son that we might have peace. And right now, our nation is not at peace. There's chaos, there's turmoil, there's fear, and that is the ruling entity right now to intimidate people and make them fearful. But you don't have to be. That's why I say learn, know, grow, get knowledge, and vote. Make sure when it's time, we're getting ready to come into a season in a few months where we'll be voting for Congress. And we need to know who is running, what issues that they're standing on. And we need to ask God to lead us and guide us when we do that, okay? So church people, don't you dare sit there on your thumbs talking about we ain't got no business being in politics. And then when you're not getting your Social Security check, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Because you said you didn't want to get involved. You better know who your local leaders are. And I'm preaching to myself too when I say this. Know who your local leaders are. Find out who is your senator. Who is that congressperson? Who is in my district? What district am I in? And what people, governmental people are accountable and that I should know. And I should know what they're doing and why they're doing it. I'm very excited about our new governor, Bamberger. She's a beautiful woman. Pray for her. Pray for those around her. Okay? Because they're not going to make it easy for her. But pray for her that she'll be able to accomplish things, the good things that she has in her heart for the people of this Commonwealth of Virginia. That's all I have. I told you I wouldn't be long today. Talk to your kids. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. Learn. Don't just sit there. Pastors, don't you dare openly speak to your congregation. Encourage them to get knowledge and understanding about who, what, when, where, and why, about how this thing works. Okay? All right. That's all I got. You guys have a great week. I'll be coming to you with some more things as the Lord gives it to me. And remember, we are not surviving. We are prospering. We are thriving. And we are flourishing according to 3 John 2. Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in every way, not just money. Okay? You need to stop that. That your body may keep well. We're going to be talking about your body soon. Even as I know your soul keeps well and prospers. Until we meet again. Goodbye. Y'all take care. Talk to your kids and learn. All righty. Bye.